Hello, this is Mark here at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here with a video called High Action Sucks. I did a video recently called Low Action Sucks. It got a lot of response by people who had something to say, let's just say. Well, I did it, I gave it that controversial name in order to start a bit of controversy. My point is that the lowest possible action all the time is not necessarily what the guitar needs or you as a player needs, and then I listed why that is, tonal reasons and intonation reasons, and I wasn't advocating for high, crazy high action or bent necks and that kind of thing. Most of my own guitars are pretty straight necks. It's okay to leave a little bit of a camber in the neck, a lot of string instruments are designed with a little bend in the neck. On basses, I tend to let my bass have a little bit just to. However, this video is about high action, and even just as the lowest possible action can be detrimental to your playing, having action that's too high can also be detrimental to your playing. So, there's a couple things I also want to go over about this, which is what is considered normal action these days. When people kind of walk around a guitar store and look at guitars, is kind of low. We set up things pretty low because people who play powerfully or want to, people want to feel like, wow, this guitar is easy to play. And if you need your action higher, you would just kind of go, oh, I know how this feels, but I could raise this action a little and this would be fine. So if we set everything up without wicked low action, people still do. They walk around the store going, oh, I don't like the action on this guitar. Well, maybe it's not for you. But let's talk about an example of that, which is this. Say hello to my little friend. This is a Martin, 1948 Martin that happens to be here in the store. This has just little bits of all the problems that can cause high action. So I wanted to demonstrate for that. Now, we've left the action like this on the guitar. Well, first of all, some people walk in the store with new Martin guitars and say, I just bought this, the action's too high. And it's like, well, this is regular Martin action. But if you want it lower, we can lower it. But this is how the maker of the guitar designed the guitar to be played. And Martin's very traditional. They still leave their action, pretty high. Godin, on some of the nicer Godins, the action comes in on the higher side to the store, because they want to maximize the tonal output of the guitar as well. But sometimes we'll set up a guitar that we get from a manufacturer like Godin just to be easier to play, just so that people get a reaction to the guitar that's pleasurable. They go, oh, this guitar is easy to play. I like this. But in this case, what this Martin would need more than anything else is a neck reset. It looks like it's probably had one already sometime in its life. It's a 1948. It's been around longer than I have. It will be around longer than I will, probably. And it's kind of what I would call its condition, I'd say, settled in. It has a little bit of a bow in the neck. It's been refretted, and I suspect that someone did a refret, and probably at the same time as a neck reset. And when you do the neck reset, you can create a little highness in this area where you get the angle changing. And what often happens on these guitars that don't have truss rods is someone will do the neck reset, and then they will plane the neck, and then that will give them a flat kind of surface to work with again, and then they'll refret it and kind of start at zero again for a while, and the neck still might pull forward. But Martin's kind of good quality vintage guitars tend to stop at some point. They tend to stop degrading at some point, and or rapidly slow down. I think this guitar is in that phase. So we're just selling it as a great playing guitar. If you need low action, you can get the neck reset and kind of get it priced without that. But the reason I have this guitar here is not to pee on Martin, although I am very complimentary of this guitar. It's beautiful. It sounds beautiful. And it's just vibrant. As I speak across it, the entire thing is just singing. So yes, action a little high. It's been lowered at the saddle, and it's about as low as you'd want it to be at the saddle. and so that's not necessarily a you can go too low at the saddle, and you do lose tone, like I was saying in the other video there. I suspect it did have a neck reset at some time. We put some lighter strings on it that can put a little less pressure on the neck in that little bend it has in the neck. So as we look across the top of the guitar, this is what commonly causes high action. Well, the neck set goes this way, so the neck kind of moves toward the guitar this way. You have a hole in the middle of your guitar, and everything wants to go inside that hole. 200 pounds of pressure pulling across this. Your bridge wants to rotate forward. Sometimes they lift in the back. You get a little belly here. You get a little bit of a divot to answer to that, because the material has to go somewhere, and so it kind of dives down a little here. All of these little problems on this Martin, you could fix it. You could rebrace it. You could force it back into its original shape. You could take the little belly out and the little. But it's a beautiful old guitar, and sometimes when you fix something that's this precious, it comes back different. It's a little too much like open heart surgery. So you should only do it when you have to. You shouldn't have to. You should just do it for fun. So this has all those little symptoms: neck moving this way, bridge rotation, top, and the action's a bit high. So what do we do for high action? Well, if it's not a vintage Martin, we can tighten the truss rod if the neck isn't straight. I like pretty straight necks on my guitars. And we have people who come in, and it's going to make me sound like a grumpy old man again, but they don't make them like they used to. In other words, the materials quality that they're using isn't as good as on older guitars. And so we have people come in annually to get their truss rod tightened, but they don't have it loosened in the summer. It just keeps drying out and drying out and drying out. And so eventually you run out of adjustment. The truss rod is not a magic wand. It hasn't been, there's a point at which you can't tighten it anymore. And we've seen guitars that aren't that old reach that point. Especially when we're talking about some inexpensive Asian-made electric guitars. They purposely use B quality materials on some of those necks, and it shows. So, and just the availability of the quality of wood is less, and then the time someone spends working on the guitar is also less, because of because computers help us cut things out, and that's great. It used to be it took a master maker a while to sit at a guitar and make it. And the less time hands-on, it's just going to lead to slightly worse results. So, you have your neck angle, and neck angles can change on electric guitars too. We see it happen, especially on guitars that aren't solid wood, but even ones that are. You can get a neck angle change on a bolt-on neck guitar. Basses, we see that happen too. And so we can shim on the inside that works like a neck reset. But the most common causes for high action are the geometry of your instrument changing, whether your neck moving one way or the other, your neck bowing, your top rising or falling, and your neck angle changing. On plywood guitars, on plywood archtop guitars, sometimes the top will actually fall a bit over time. It will just kind of want to go back into a flat. If it's pressed into shape, it wants to go back into a flatter shape. So that's my little talk about high action. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. We'll go check out the other video called Low Action Sucks and see what I'm talking about when I talk about getting action too low. And check out all the other videos here on YouTube. And thanks for watching. And have a good day. We'll see you soon.